Transform your mind's potential with Mind Beyond Mind. Our revolutionary approach combines cutting-edge techniques with expert guidance to sharpen your focus and unlock peak mental performance. Ready for clarity like never before? Visit mindbeyondmind-lab.com now and start your journey to excellence. Digital, paperback, and hardcover editions available on Kindle. Please help our team bring this subject to life and to the public table by supporting our Mind Beyond Mind channel by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. Your mind's been loud lately, too many tabs open, too many voices, and not enough you. I welcome you. This is Mind Beyond Mind, the alchemist's path. I'm Christopher Grove, and this show is a gentle rebellion against shallow thinking. Together, we'll kindle the quiet fire that turns noise into knowing. This book, behind this show, was born of one question. How far can the mind go? Can we train it? Can we upgrade it and integrate it so we think more clearly, create more freely, and live more consciously? And the answer is yes. And not just for a few people. You don't need to sit in a cave for 7 years. You do not need to become a yogi. You do not need to become an expert. You do not need to be a kung fu master or have to pay exuberant amounts of money for someone to illuminate this so-called lifetime path to illumination and energetic health. That couldn't be further from the truth. In all actuality, energetic health is as important, if not more important, than our physical, our mental, and all other aspects of our life. Our health is overall and ever-reaching. Not just what you can see, touch, and feel, and smell, and taste, but everything that you can't. That's still part of your being, still part of your universe, or universes, or dimensions. Where one thing is happening now, another is happening somewhere else. Everything is always happening right now, all the time, all at once. Just stop for 1 second and wonder what's going on out in the river, the lake, the street, the air. You, your family, your friends, everyone's doing something different right now. What are you doing right now? You've made a conscious choice to join me on this journey to learn how that everyone has the right to be energetically healthy and learn how to plug in and reap the benefits of energetic health and enlightenment as a whole, as a human race, to start to improve our human situation, our human condition, one frequency at a time. Because if you don't think we're not governed by every single micro-atomic frequency fractal, you're sorely mistaken. It all begins with energy, just like our universe, our cosmos, and our lives. So remember, your decisions are your future. Your future's always one decision away. Now, cognitive growth is a path anyone can walk with the right tools and presence. That's what this podcast delivers in small, powerful steps. Not trying to build Rome in a day, but actual, tangible practices and application for you to connect in and begin to heal your energy, fine-tune your energy, connect your higher brain to your lower brain, and become a complete circuit enabled to transmit and receive signal and contribute to the collective human energetic fabric. It's about 15 minutes. Why 15 minutes? Because I want to spend time on each step, each segment, so that we understand it fully. And once we understand how we get to those questions, then we can prepare ourselves to better assimilate and understand the answers that come from that practice. This way, 15 minutes of your time and you can sit and ponder something so fundamental, so basic, yet so potent and crucial to your energetic existence and holds the key to your future beginning now. We'll move through the awakening, the mechanics of thought, creativity, focus, the intelligence of emotion and intuition, and eventually beyond thought. That's right, into the still, lucid field where awareness does the seeing. Every session ends with a micro practice you can use the very same day. Rome was not built in a day, but you can start that journey now and make marked progress and get there a lot sooner than a lot of these so-called gurus want you to believe. I wrote this book out of my quest for understanding on where I sit in this energetic universe, fabric, human race, within my own culture, my own country, within my family, within my human interactions. Where do I stand? And what effect has my decisions had on not only myself, but those around me? Let's begin with the simplest lever, the metacognitive pause. Anytime you feel triggered, uncertain, or on autopilot, you know, that knee-jerk feeling where you just react. I used to react that way until I started to apply a lot of these principles and understanding that all motion leads to connectivity of the higher and lower brain and sympathetic nervous system in order for me to not only be a complete energetic being, but to transmit and contribute my energy and help attune our collective fabric. So, metacognitive pause. Again, anytime you feel triggered, uncertain, or on autopilot, pause for 10 seconds. Now, at first you hear 10 seconds and you think, boy, that's quick. A lot can happen in 10 seconds, right? But we're trying to slow that down. I want that 10 seconds to seem like a lifetime. I want you to breathe. I want you to do the 3-6-9 breathing activity, meaning you breathe in for a count of 3, you hold it for 6 seconds, and you let it out for 9. To think about metacognitive pause. What does that mean? That's a great question. And what that does is it allows you to step back and ask yourself 3 main questions. But first question, taking your 10-second pause. What thought am I believing now? What thought am I believing right now? Take your breaths and think about that. Observe your thinking. Don't be a part of the thought. Observe the thought. Observe the processes that you have used to come to that conclusion, which means to reverse engineer that and go back to the intent. What drove the intent? Then go back before that. And believe it or not, you have the ability to go back a lot further into more minute, more micro thinking and thoughts and stimulus than you believe. You have to, because it all originates there. A thought just doesn't pop into your head. It is something that starts from a small, little electrical impulse that has grown into something important to you, right? Take your 3-6-9 breath and ask yourself, what thought am I believing right now? Second question, where did it come from? Again, reverse engineering. Where did it come from? Experience, fear, memory, preconceived notions, pre-programming? Ask yourself, where did this thought come from? What was the train of thought that led to this thought? How did I begin this motion? How did I start things into motion and begin this energy that has now become an intent, that now has become a thought that I now want to act on? Again, reverse engineering. That is the best way for you to understand where your gaps are. If you're an athlete, you understand what I'm saying. If you're anybody of any type of competitive nature, you know that if you're not paying attention to your weaknesses or your shortcomings, your enemy or opponent is. So be thankful for the people that are critical and make you aware of said gaps. Super important. I don't want to look across the huddle and find out that my teammate across the huddle doesn't have a clue because I see complete fear in their eyes. I need to know that they're on the same page with me and not a word needs to be said. The next thing you have to ask is what type of thought is it? Is it based on fact? Is it a fact? Could it be factual? Is part of it factual? Or was it a frame, meaning a preconceived notion? Something was already a construct built into your thinking by preconditioning. This is crucial. To really work on this part is probably the most difficult because understanding and identifying the difference between a fact or a feeling that you believe is fact and whether or not it actually is or isn't, your perceptions are going to be governed by your preconceived notions, helps filter out what your eyes see or your ears hear, your mouth tastes, and then can start to formulate a mental image of that. So ask yourself, is it factual? Is it based on bias? Is it based on my personal beliefs? Is it based on happy, sad, or indifferent feelings? Or is it based on nothing but man-made constructs that we believe to be true without any questioning? Ask yourself that while you're taking your 3-6-9 breath. Breathing in and honestly sit and ask yourself this as you're thinking the thoughts right now. This is not something you write down and do tomorrow or do 10 minutes from now. You're actually thinking right now about what we're talking about. I'm thinking right now. And while I'm talking to you, I'm actually asking myself about my thoughts and what I'm talking about. You need to do the same thing. What is this causing you to think about? And then ask yourself what that process is. Pretty soon, you're going to start to identify a pattern in your thought processes. You'll feel the space between stimulus and response. That space is sovereignty. The moment you observe a thought, you're no longer inside its loop. You are the one who sees. That's where rewiring begins, and we break the loops. And what I mean by a loop is if you continually are doing the same thing over and over again, repeating it and getting the same outcomes, you're going to get the same outcomes with no production whatsoever. Well, if that's not producing the outcomes that you want, obviously that loop is not doing you any good, correct? Right. So it'd be best for you to break that loop or step out of it completely. And the only way to do that is observe, identify that it is a loop. Once you do that, then you ask yourself, what is this loop? And you apply these same 3 questions. What thought am I believing right now? Where did this loop or this thought come from? Experience, fear, memory? Is it a fact or a frame? 3-6-9 breathing through all of these thoughts. And as you do this, you are programming your subconscious to start to pay attention. Not to what you're saying, not to what Bob's doing over there down the street. It's actually paying attention to your thoughts. This is where you begin to take control of your programming and your rewiring. See, we're predisposed, we're conditioned at every turn. We always have been. And we just take it for granted. Those that are in charge of our media and what we hear and what we see and all the constructs we believe, that we are just along for the ride. That couldn't be more from the truth. The actual truth is you are the observer and the environment. Meaning you create, therefore you observe, therefore you create. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist, right? Well, not so fast. Again, ask yourself these same 3 questions every time. Master these things. Master the reverse engineering of you. Master the reverse engineering of your thinking, your belief system, everything. Apply these 3 questions to it. And I promised you a 4th one. I always ask myself, is it going to make my mom cry? Well, is it? Again, what's the thought you're thinking right now? What is the thought you believe right now when I said that? Where did it come from? Is it experience, fear, memory, love? Is it factual? How historically correct is it? Or is it a frame, a construct? I want you to think about that for a minute. This is very important. This is what everything else relies upon. And if you can master this process right here, your conflicts will diminish. You'll start to be in harmony. You'll start to actually present things in a fashion that people will be more receptive to. You're basically tuning your communication, you're tuning yourself, you're attracting positive frequencies and resonant frequencies, and you're attuning odd or bad harmonics. You're tuning yourself like a guitar. You're tuning your environment like an orchestra. Think about it. If an orchestra was completely out of tune, it would sound horrible. That's what we're trying to achieve here. In reality, it's about turning on our oscilloscope, finding out what our patterns are, what frequencies we're really operating at, and whether or not our vibrational health and projection is a reflection of fact, conviction, or is it all a fabrication of man made constructs that we didn't create? More food for thought. Ask yourself, what thoughts are you believing right now? Is this fact or a frame? Now, think of a recent moment. I want you to think deeply because I want a real reaction within you internally. Think of a recent moment you tightened up, maybe a comment, an email, a glance. Bring it to mind. Now, together, breathe in because breath is the key to it all. It allows us to slow things down, even our system, and connect our conscious mind, our upper brain, with our lower brain and our sympathetic nervous system. Get involved in your bodily system. Don't just assume it's running. Well, it is, but get involved in it. You know, you can get in there with your conscious mind, your upper mind, and help tweak it, refine it, and dial it in. And guess what? That's what we're doing right now. So cool. We have this amazing mind, this amazing conscious, spiritual consciousness. We have this ability to be physical. We have this ability to love, hate, feel. All of these things are real. And we're going to tweak it and refine ourselves to where we are nothing but receiving real, energetic transmissions and projecting the same. And it only amplifies from there. So again, take a recent moment you've tightened up, maybe a comment, an email, a glance, bring it to mind. Now, together, breathe in, take that pause, 10 seconds, and ask, what thought am I believing right now? Name it. I want you to vocalize it. Because believe it or not, if you don't think sound has a true effect, we would not have the ability to communicate, speak, sing, make noise, communicate with sound, period. Matter of fact, we transmit all of our electricity via frequencies. We do everything via frequencies. Our world is made of frequencies. So it only makes sense for you to take that pause and ask yourself, where did it, what am I believing? Name it so you identify it. So now you've identified the loop or whatever that thought is, that feeling. Now, if it's a good positive feeling, again, still apply these factors to it and these questions so that you can identify it and repeat it because it's good. But if you're identifying something that gives you other than a good feeling, a good frequency, which means it's in tune, then it's something that you need to address. You need to work through and identify and tweak and retune it so it becomes aligned with the rest of your good frequencies. This is called the beginning of your energetic healing. So whenever you hear a yogi say, clear your mind, how in the heck can you clear your mind? That's the most misnomer crap on the planet. And that I guarantee you. I've been in martial arts a long damn time. When you're talking about trying to tap in and do all of this stuff that they want to put all this hocus pocus around, it's all garbage. You have more control over what's going on than they do. And you do not need them to tell you how you should feel or what you should think. Clear your mind. How is that possible? That's not possible because your mind is always operating, and that does not account for your unconscious or your actual sympathetic nervous system, which is your lower brain. So, what would make sense to us? If we were to meditate and look internally, I would pick an organ: pancreas, kidney, lung, heart, brain, doesn't matter. Focus on it. Attune yourself, because what's going to happen is you're going to begin to communicate with your sympathetic nervous system. Your subconscious and your conscious mind are going to connect and start to communicate with your central nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system, the system that runs everything. You ever wondered? Your body's just running. It's doing an unbelievable amount of calculations and things or processes are happening. We can't even fathom it. We don't even know totally what's going on. But we do know that by focusing internally, we trigger that communication. We make that neural connection between all of our brains. So physical is connected to the brain, and the brain is connected to the physical, and all points in between. You need both. You have to have both. That's when you become a super powerful, energetic human being, is when you have tapped into both and brought things into alignment. Now, the benefit from doing that and practicing your breathing is you become in tune with your body's ebb and flow. Now you're in tune with it. Now you can start to subconsciously and consciously tweak and refine and adjust and attune your body's function, your health, your chi, if you will, or, increase the blood flow and oxygen to your organs. All of these things can help. It also helps to balance each frequency of each organ. That's right. Chi is real. Acupuncture is real. Sound and energetic healing is real. It all plays a role. And if you don't believe me, ask any athlete, even ones that have nothing to do with martial arts or yoga or anything else. Ask a baseball player. What happens when you swing a bat 1,000 times? It becomes automatic. It becomes part of your sympathetic nervous system. So that when that ball is pitched at you at 90 miles an hour, you automatically swing at the right speed and timing. You don't reinvent the wheel every time you step to the plate, have to relearn how to swing the bat. It's the same reason why in martial arts you have to throw 1,000 straight jabs, because it becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. Well, what does automatic mean? It means it becomes part of your sympathetic nervous system. So did you train it? You did. You programmed it into your system. Your brain connected with your lower brain and said, hey, put this in your catalog, right? Okay, so that makes all the sense in the world. But I guarantee you that any champion on this planet worth their salt is going to say they believe in biorhythm, they believe in visualization and imagery. So now that you've got your 10-second pause in place, and you ask yourself, where did my thought come from after I named it? Where did it come from? Again, man-made construct, fact, fiction, combination of both. Just ask any witness in a court situation. Sometimes they don't remember anything and they might have been staring at everything. Mind does some very strange things. And once you've identified it and you come to the conclusion that it is a frame, you just stepped out of the loop. By identifying what that thought is and what this loop is, you have already taken the step to step outside of it. Now it's completely up to you whether or not you decide that's a good loop or a bad loop. If it's a bad loop in a frame or unfactual, whatever the case may be, you have now taken the step to step out of it and now can affect change. Do the metacognitive pause 3 times, morning, noon, and at night. If you journal, write the thought you believed and the frame you discovered. Do this every day, and you're going to start to identify your pattern, not everybody else's. If this has helped, please subscribe and leave a comment with the phrase "my loop" and a word or two about your loop. I'm very curious, but in episode 1, we'll light the initial fire of cognitive awakening and walk a 10-minute mind clearing ritual that creates real mental space. And yes, I said mind clearing, but that does not mean it's going to be an empty head. I'm going to show you what we mean by that. And it's actually extremely powerful. Super cool stuff. I'm really excited. I can't wait to share it with you. It's just so refreshing. It's cathartic for me. I am just glad that I can be able to put this out there, and hopefully you guys will like this and want me to continue. We're just starting this bad boy, and we're going to have a blast doing it. We're going to come out of this a collective juggernaut. We'll walk a 10-minute mind clearing ritual that creates real mental space. You're going to have a set mental space that you will go to. It's not fabricated. It's not some dream world. It's actually, you have a space in your mental framework. There is a space in there. Your mind will decide what that is. Once you get these fundamentals down to be able to plug in and start to consciously be alert, investigate, absorb, and assess during your meditative states, and start to look with a different lens and see reality in a different fashion. And you're going to see how you fit in. And you'll probably end up with more questions, but that's good. That's what we are for. We are humans. We care, we're curious, and we want to be kind. I'll see you there. The flame is lit. Carry your candle with me.